Hello.
Hey!
Hello. Welcome
Welcome!
back.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to Trooper Archives. You may need to see our identification. My name is Ace. I was once the master.
And I am Gabe. Now I am the master. I am so excited. This is our second episode. It was so quick. And yeah, we're going to talk about A New Hope still.
All right. So don't forget to check out episode 1 of this series talking about A New Hope. And we have other videos up on our YouTube channel, like our reaction to the Andor series trailer. So check
That's
those
true.
out, guys. So what do we got
That is
today?
All right. Well, for today in Star Wars, all right.
Ooh.
Um today in Star Wars, the original trilogy is released on VHS and THX for the first time in August 29, 1995.
I remember THX.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for this day in Star Wars. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to a much more. I don't think anyone has been talking about this, but have you ever heard of the alternative opening scene with Luke and Biggs in The New Hope?
No, I haven't. I've never had a conversation about it with any of my friends. It's never come up in any group I've been in. So this is gonna be the first time I've heard of it. Actually,
Yeah.
you know.
So basically, the first scene is so after the crawl. So we talked about the crawl last episode. So this alternative scene, it's a deleted scene actually. It's a deleted scene. Is after you pan down. So the original goes in with the Star Destroyer chasing Princess Leia's ship. All right, but in this deleted scene, it doesn't pan out to that chase. It pans out to Luke being in Tatooine. He's in Tatooine. I don't know what he's doing in that scene. I think he was checking the evaporators in their farm, the moisture farm of his uncle and aunt. But yeah, he sees the Imperial Star Destroyer go out of hyperspace, and he immediately looks at his telescope and sees the fight. And he was so excited he went back to this, like, I don't know, this place where he and his friends hang out, and then he sees Biggs. So his best friend from Tatooine, who was
Right,
a
Biggs.
X-wing pilot as well for the rebellion, but at that time, Biggs was part of the Imperial Academy for training Imperial pilots. And
Oh, okay.
so this scene actually, Biggs is convincing Luke to join him in the Imperial Academy so that they could both jump ship to the Alliance. And basically it's the foreshadowing of Luke being invested in the fight against the Galactic Empire, as you see in one of the scenes in The New Hope when he learns about C-3PO and R2-D2 being part of the rebels. But we'll talk about that in a future episode. So that's pretty much it, the scene, and then it will shift back to the chase. So what do you think? Do you think they should have it was right for them to delete the scene, or do you think they should have kept it? I don't know if it adds to the story. I mean, it adds to the story wherein I think personally it shows the friendship of Biggs and Luke, and it also shows how Luke is interested in joining the rebels. So what do you think, Ace?
I think no. I think the way it opened, from the crawl in space, and then to pan down to the ambassadorial ship where Leia is, and the Star Destroyer just coming after it. There's an imposing figure coming on after an underdog. I think that sets the tone for the conflict of Star Wars, rather than having this on Terra scene. Looks like it's gonna be a teen movie or whatever. So
Yeah, true.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the way they did it. I'm happy with the decision for this alternative opening to be scrapped. It does bring out one question, or at least a what if, you could say, where what if Biggs doesn't leave the Imperial Academy. So you could have
Mm-hmm.
Biggs as a TIE fighter going up against Luke, in the end, in the Battle of Yavin. So that's an alternative ending to consider.
That's true. That's true. Um, but yeah, talking about that, the first scene, the Imperial boarding party in the Tantive 4. All right, for you. Okay, so it's the Tantive 4 is the ship of Princess Leia.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
think
that.
Ace doesn't know it.
I didn't know it.
But then again, it's something that they added, you know, when they released like books, encyclopedias of ships.
Oh, it was just additional canon, or
Yeah, it's additional
Okay,
canon.
okay.
Yeah, and I think it's still canon because Star Wars Rebels, and the other movies mentioned this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is indeed the ship or the consular ship of it's not the royal house, but the House of Organa. So
Okay.
in the opening scene, I just want to add to that. Like, I haven't seen any opening Star Wars after the crawl that is on the planet immediately. It's every time it starts in space. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice opening for a science fiction movie to go
Uh-huh.
spaceships and laser beams. You just go straight into it, straight
That's
into
true.
a Star War. That's what you want to get into. So
I mean,
I'm really
George
happy
Lucas
with the way it
did.
starts out.
Yeah, I mean, George Lucas did want one of the key elements why ILM was founded was George Lucas wants to have a dogfight in space.
Yes, yes, and we
Yes,
got it,
which
and we got a lot.
yeah,
of it
yeah, and we got a lot of it in this movie. And talking about the Tantive 4 scene, all right. So, what did you think? Like the first scene, it was chaos. It was chaotic inside. There were rebel soldiers like running. You see droids. What did you think? It was like the ship was shaking and everything. So, what do you think,
So
Ace?
yeah, I remember watching it as a kid, where the first few minutes, showing the 3PO, the protocol droids, and the R2 units, and the soldiers. Do you call those rebel soldiers with the weird helmets?
I think it's the
Um,
rebel troopers. Yeah.
Rebel troopers or whatever. So with the weird helmets, and that was with the chin strap, with the chin straps. They all had the chin straps. Yeah, you could know, you sort of not know what's going on, like, in detail. First time
Yeah.
watching it, it was a bit confusing until the stormtroopers come in. So that was
Yeah.
So that was for me. It was like, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, those are the bad guys.
Actually, watching it as a kid, just to add to that first scene, so there was chaos, and one of the rebel troopers, there was a zoomed in shot. I don't know if you can remember, but there was a zoomed in shot of a rebel trooper holding his gun, like hearing the sound that they're getting boarded. All right, and as a kid, I thought that character and Han Solo were the same character because they look the same. Harrison Ford and that whoever that he is, kudos to him being in Star Wars in the first Star Wars film. But yeah, I thought as a kid I was really confused. Like, oh, okay, I thought he was a rebel trooper, and then now he's a smuggler, and now he's this
Sort of
guy.
the same
Yeah.
color scheme as well, with the light
Yeah.
tan shirt, black.
You know what
like,
scene I'm
whatever,
talking
yeah.
about, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the scene where they were all waiting for. They were
Yeah.
anticipating to get boarded already. Yeah.
So, talking about that, right? So, what did you think about those two droids that they were looking for? C3PO and R2D2.
Yeah. So yeah, the first time they show us C3PO and R2D2, right away you know what kind of relationship they have. It's like
Yeah. Best buddies.
there's already this sort of like not tension, but there's gonna be a back and forth between them.
That's true.
R2 sounds already are very iconic, very identifiable as R2D2, and then
Yeah.
C3PO's questioning of R2's, where should we go? We should go here, and so it's very. I remember seeing that for the first time as well, or seeing it over and over again when I was a kid. that it's just these two are, I don't know if they're the heroes, or are they going to be in the movie for like the rest of the hour and a half or whatever. So it was a good build up to introduce minor characters and then building up to the main characters.
But do you think they're minor characters?
Well, it turns out with the prequels and the sequels that R2D2 is actually the first droid or the first character who's actually in all 6 movies when you go 1 to 6. So before the sequel trilogy came out. So it was at that time you didn't know that the droids were going to be as important as they are now.
True. I mean, watching it for the first time, if you don't know anything, yeah, you'd probably guess they're like supporting characters. But what do you think? Did you think that there was an actual guy inside C3PO? Did you know as whenever you watch it for the first time? Did you guess, or like how did you find out that there was a guy inside C3PO who was?
I think for 3PO, I think you always knew there was a guy in there because the way he moved and the costume and
the
his
clunkiness.
abdomen. Yeah, you know there was a guy there. I was surprised that there was a guy inside R2D2. At the time when I first found out about that, I was like, "What? They didn't use it. You know, they had a robot controlling the camera, for God's sake. I mean, can't you control a droid like an animatronic? You know, what did the guy have to do?
Those two, Kenny Baker, who was actually the guy inside C3. I mean, not C3PO. It was Anthony Daniels. R2D2. I mean, and yeah, I mean, kudos to him. He didn't even have any dialogue. I don't know if he was actually controlling the droid from the inside. I don't know. I mean,
spinning the inside, like
turning
the head.
Like, but yeah, unfortunately, he died in 2016. August 13th.
He did a good job. He did a good job. Everybody loves R2D2.
Yeah, everybody loves R2D2, but the thing is, they don't even know that Kenny Baker was inside R2D2.
I think a lot of people do now. I think even before he passed away, I think there was some notoriety for his side, for his part of being that character, being the original, being the original guy, being the original R2D2. I think he was recognized for it, more than, well, I heard about it more than I heard the alternative opening.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only like, if you guys want to watch the alternative opening or the deleted scene, just
not.
search in YouTube, or not. It's up to you. But if you're curious, go to YouTube, search up deleted scene Luke and Biggs, and yeah, you'll see it. But yeah, what can you say about Anthony Daniels? Did you ever heard of the character before Star Wars, or like, did you ever watch him?
No, I didn't really look him up or anything, other than him being introduced, like when episode 1 came out, just mentioning some of the names that were as reprising their roles from the original trilogy. So Anthony Daniels was definitely of course was one of them. So I think he was just synonymous with C3PO. I mean, when I was young, or when we were young, I don't think anyone wanted to be C3PO. Like, oh, I want to be C3PO. Maybe for a Halloween costume, that's okay. But
maybe
if you're a kid and you want to play a part, you don't want to be C3PO. But it is what it is, and C3PO is a very, very important character throughout, the trilogies.
That's true. He is will always be important. I don't know if this is legit, like canon or whatnot, but there's a talk that Star Wars was actually shot in the view or story told by R2D2.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, it's sort of like if someone was telling the story, it'd be R2D2 who's narrating actually the story. I heard about this, and I'm okay with it if that was the case. I don't mind it. Although I think the importance of C3PO is to really provide that comedic element,
Yeah,
but
that's
also
true.
as a translator to R2D2 throughout the movies whenever they're together. So I think that's it's we're actually sort of like uh living through R2D2's eyes, but having the
Yeah,
story told us by C3PO.
that's true. That's true. That's actually a good point. Because we can't understand R2D2 and C3PO.
No, no.
Just based on their conversations, you kind of know what R2 thinks, what R2's saying, right?
It's a pretty
But
cool cinematic trick, just having a one. It's a dialogue, but just understanding one side of the dialogue, but we still understand the whole dialogue.
yeah, that's true. Last question about this topic. Before we move on, C3PO, and R2D2, they're both one of the household names of Star Wars.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
think many of you would agree with that. But did you think C3PO was comedic or annoying in the first movie?
Ooh, that's a good one. No, I think he was more comedic for me while watching it. Seeing it a million times before I even turned
Yeah.
before I became a teenager. I think he was more funny than annoying. I don't. I think his being annoying to R2D2 or vice versa, R2D2 annoying him was actually the sort of it lightened the tension in Tatooine, even though they're being chased. You can see C3PO carrying the Jawas to burn them after they were
Yeah.
killed by the stormtroopers. So he brings that sort of like that groundedness to the scope and the story. I think that's one of the things C3PO and R2D2 does. R2D2 of course is the element where he's the thing that moves the story forward in the beginning. How he's the link from Luke Skywalker to Ben Kenobi. But we'll get there in a future episode.
That's true. Future episode. Anyways, we'll be moving to one of the most badass villain of all time. It is Darth Vader. All right. So,
Amazing.
Darth Vader's first appearance in this scene in Tantive 4 when the Imperial boarding party actually broke through the airlock, all right, to enter the ship. He didn't do anything. He was just walking, troopers, stormtroopers were like giving way to him and everything. And one of his like first dialogue was like with Ramus Antilles, where he was choking the captain of the ship.
That's all. That's Darth. Pretty good debut for Darth Vader. Just spreading the sea of stormtroopers and just choking a guy out, lifting him up in the air, choking him out.
Actually, I have a good question about that scene. We've seen Darth Vader choke a lot of people, but that was the only scene that he actually choked a guy with his bare hands.
Massive flex for my guy Darth Vader. Just
yeah. I mean, David Prowse was a huge guy.
He was huge, yeah.
Yeah, it was huge.
But just to show that in that space, with while looking for Princess Leia, it just shows that okay, you guys are not on my level. You guys better watch out.
I mean, poor Captain though. He had a scene in episode 3, but he was one of the most loyal like people around the House of Organa, and he has served them for decades. But at least he stayed true till the end. He didn't say, if this is a consular ship, where is the ambassador? Right. Like
he didn't snitch.
He didn't snitch.
The guy wasn't a snitch. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for us for us watching that for the first time, we don't know how bad Vader is. We don't know what he did. The fear that he emanates, from his presence. You don't know the fear that people feel whenever he's there. So I guess um, I'm not questioning the decision of the captain, but I think he was more than afraid. And I think if he did spiel where Princess Leia was, then I think he's still gonna be. He know that he's gonna be killed.
Oh yeah, he was gonna die. He was gonna die no matter what.
Yeah, most probably. But yeah, what do you think about Darth Vader's voice? Because it's like two separate entities: the image, the fear, and then the iconic voice done by James Earl Jones. What do you think?
No one can be Darth Vader other than James Earl Jones. I think
agree.
It's one and the same. He just the authority and the fear coming into a sea of white from the stormtroopers, and he's the only tall with the menacing posture, and again choking a guy out with one hand, lifting him up in the air. You know that this guy is gonna be a threat throughout the movie, and how are they gonna beat him? How are they gonna defeat a guy who's that strong and commands that many henchmen or army
true.
at his disposal? So amazing flex and amazing appearance, amazing first
That's
appearance.
true. I mean, did you ever watch the scene where they did not add the raw scene where it wasn't James Earl Jones' voice, it was David Prowse's voice?
I heard that
part
it was
of the Rebel
bad.
Alliance and a traitor. Traitor. Carry away. Something like that.
It
Um,
definitely would not have worked.
it was British though. You are
could've-
part of the Rebel Alliance. It
They
sounds
could've-
like
they could have.
it sounds like Stewie from Family Guy. Sorry.
They could have turned him into Bane, like, you're part of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought you were like, you were doing some kind of foreign impression. But yeah, okay. So basically, I was just wondering, right? Like, it's just like a question. I don't think it's even right for this episode, but I don't think we can actually like talk about it in any of the episodes. So I'm just gonna add it.
Okay.
The accents in the movie.
Okay, yeah,
Did you ever wonder there's like British, Princess Leia, and then there's like American, accents. Did you like pay attention to that? Maybe not in the first time you watch it or like in the first 10 or hundreds, but like now, if you're gonna think about it, do you find it weird that accents don't work? Like if you live in this planet that you have this accent, it's like a mix of accents. So what do you think?
I think it was intentional for George Lucas to do the Imperial, being an empire, to have a British accent, because there's a British Empire, and then
that's true.
Most of the rebels would be with an American accent to signify the rebellion. So I think that was sort of the theme, and of course in movies as well, it's a very traditional practice to, let's say for example, there's the people are portraying Nazis or the Roman Empire or any European race or sort of organization. They'd have British accents to translate it, and then the Americans would have the American accent. So I think it's more the defining which is the empire and which is the rebels. So I think it was
which side
more
is which.
that, which side is which. So I think it's more that. Although you could notice in one of Princess Leia's first few lines that I forget, maybe we'll get there when she's in the Death Star already, where it was almost a British accent, and then she turned into
I've got
Western.
something. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I've got something about that. We'll talk about that in the future episode when we talk about, when we get there. All right. I don't know what episode, but yeah. So I think that wraps up episode 2. All right, the chase. All right. So basically, guys, please follow us on TikTok at Trooper Archives, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trooper Archives. Give us a thumbs up. All right, hit that notification bell. Give us a comment on what we can improve on, or any suggestions, any stories you have about the topics or questions. What do you think about Vader? What do you think about the accents? What do you think about C-3PO and R2-D2? Was it necessary that we should put a person inside R2-D2? We can talk about it in the comments down below. We'll love to read it and react to it. We can try to reply to it. So I guess again, you could listen to us in other podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and the likes. So please follow us there, because good soldiers follow orders. I am Gabe.
And I'm Ace. This has been Trooper Archives. You don't need to see our identification.